This is Pod Populi, podcast for the people.
Hey there, and welcome to the Cinnamon Effect podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Hand, and I'm thrilled to have you with me on this vibrant journey of discovery and growth. This podcast is your go-to space for embracing intention, where you'll find clarity on your unique path, deepen those meaningful connections, and unleash your creativity like never before. We'll explore how to build unshakable confidence and celebrate the beauty of gratitude, all while savoring the calm that consistency brings to our lives. Thank you for being with me. Let's sprinkle a little cinnamon into your day and make life sweeter, healthier, and more fulfilling. Welcome back to the Cinnamon Effect. I'm Kimberly Hand, and today I have the pleasure of sitting with Connie Zack. Connie is the co-founder of Sunlighten Saunas, a product that I am using consistently in my routine. And so I'm so excited to talk to her about her personal journey into launching a groundbreaking product way before it became mainstream. Also, how women, specifically perimenopausal and menopausal women, are using the saunas to up-level their health routines. So we're going to dive into all of this. Connie, I'm so excited to have you here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
So Connie's joining us from Missouri, and she said it was very dreary, but you're going to heat yourself up in that sauna today.
That's right. Exactly. That's going to give me the energy I need because, when it's kind of dreary out, it just, I think it, impacts people's moods sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Having lived in winter climate for a short time, I definitely wished I had one at that point, as I was mentioning to you. So can you talk, we had Vic Riffle on the show, actually his episode's launching today, so you'll hear that one first. But I do want to dive into more about the light therapy that's going on in the Sunlighten Saunas, the far, mid, and near infrared light. If you could break that down and maybe tell us which one is good for what, are they all working together? How does that work?
Sure. So the Impulse specifically is the one, that Impulse collection is the Sunlighten Sauna. We have 4 collections that contains all 4 parts of the infrared spectrum, and it contains them all. It's so special, well, A, that it has them all, but B, that we have found a way to separate and isolate each wavelength. And then that allows us to deliver the correct frequency, the quantity and quality of frequency to significantly impact the body. So it's a very special product, Impulse. And I'll start with far infrared. All of them are from the infrared spectrum of light that comes from the sun. And, majority of the light waves that come from the sun are in the infrared spectrum. And it's that wonderful feeling, infrared of, like, for example, today it's going to happen where I know soon, hopefully when I leave here, that sun is going to come out, and then that's going to give you that just warm blanket hug that you feel, and you're going to feel great. And that feeling is infrared. So that's the spectrum that we're talking about. And it's a spectrum of light. Far infrared is felt by heat. It is the longest wavelength of all of them, and it is absorbed at the cellular level and with your water molecules and your mitochondria. It's claim to fame as far as when you say, what does each one of them do? Far infrared is really the most, I don't know if I should say it's the most studied, because near and red are photobiomodulation is very studied, but it is the one that is the foundation of the entire spectrum. And the reason I say foundation is because it increases your core temperature and starts everything flowing, increases your circulation. And as a result of all of those flow changes in your body, that starts this biochemical cascade in your body that impacts every single system. So it impacts everything. And what's great about far infrared is it's excellent for detoxification. It's great for depression. It's great, fabulous for longevity, specifically as it relates to the cardiovascular side. There's more studies with far infrared on helping make the heart healthy than any other health benefit. So that's far infrared. So then there's mid infrared, which is also experienced by heat. It is a hotter experience. It's great as a synergistic part of the spectrum with far infrared. When you combine those two together, you get wonderful benefits such as weight loss. You get excellent reduction of inflammation. So does far, but mid, you get inflammation reduction at the joint and tissue level. And it's also great for, there's a study that was done as far as with muscle recovery, helping with pain relief and muscle recovery and agility and flexibility. So it's great also for longevity reasons, because it's really important to increase your mobility and your flexibility as you age. And then there's near and red. So far and mid are experienced by heat. Near and red do not have heat. So they are delivered by LEDs. Near infrared goes the deepest. The difference between near and red is near is invisible, red you can see. Near goes a little bit deeper into the skin, and red doesn't go as deep. Those two have wonderful impacts on reducing inflammation, especially at the skin level. They're really great for skin benefits. We can talk about that deeper when we talk about women's issues, because I love talking about how infrared in general could help with the skin. But they're great for helping at the cellular level. And then all four of these wavelengths together supercharge your cells. So this is as a holistic energy medicine, that when you get this infrared energy into your body, it's so much more than heat and so much more than light. It goes beyond the light and heat aspects. It is literally bringing this powerful energy into your body to impact all of your organs, all of the blood flow, all the circulation, and being so good for your cells to give you the best energy it's possible.
I mean, the benefits are incredible. And the more I learn about it, it's like if you're going to add one thing into your routine, this seems like one that's hitting everything, every system of your body, and just helping your overall health goals. Now, so it's interesting that you mentioned depression, and maybe you can dive a little deeper into that, because how does it affect, how would using the sauna affect depression and mental health?
Yeah, that's such a great study. That's a great question. So let's see here. I think it was 2016 off the top of my head. Dr. Razone in Wisconsin did a study. And what's so impressive about his study is it was only one session with infrared. One session produced significant reduction in depression that lasted up to 6 weeks. So that is so powerful. And he truly believes that infrared impact on the skin really helps change the neurons in the brain. There's a skin-brain connection that really unlocks the key to happy mood, happy thoughts, and helps people reset their brain when it comes to depression. And there is a lot of data on that. People who suffer from severe depression are not able to thermoregulate. So what I mean by that is they're not able to heat up and cool down and change. And especially in the evening, when our bodies need to cool down in order for a great night's sleep, that doesn't happen to people who have severe depression. But when they use infrared, again, it gives that neuron connection that unlocks that stuck factor and allows everything to reset and allows them to cool themselves down and then heat up and then cool down.
Wow. So interesting, because you wouldn't think sauna and cooling down, but that makes sense, because you don't really stay hot much long, that long after using the sauna. I noticed that all of a sudden my body temperature is regulated again and I'm ready to like relax and go to sleep.
Very similar
interesting.
to how you feel after you exercise, right? It's a very similar type feeling because I love exercising and sometimes you're really hot, especially on a hot day. You're in Florida, and so sometimes when you're done, I mean, it doesn't take your body that long, to assimilate, and it's a similar type of effect, but infrared is passive and exercise and running, et cetera, is active.
Yeah. So how, in light of women's health and being perimenopausal and menopausal, that's a lot of my audience. So I would love to talk about that and how women are using the sauna and maybe some of the research went in regards to autoimmune or Hashimoto's thyroid issues and how these women are using the sauna in their routines.
Yeah, I loved the mood, mental health topic for so many reasons. And so I'll start with just the basics, the fact that when you go in and you receive that infrared energy into your body, it starts to increase your circulation and your blood flow and increase your heart rate up to 3 times than its regular blood flow. And that increase in flow, that starts to produce more oxygen to the brain, and that oxygen to the brain helps with mental clarity. It helps to set off all the happy chemicals like serotonin and oxytocin, and that happy feeling is released, inside your body. And we as women, we're always driving and so focused and taking care of everybody that sometimes we don't take care of ourselves. And the great thing about using a Sunlighten Sauna is you can go in there and let the sauna do the work for you and take care of you. I mean, there's not many people, and my husband does a great job taking care of me, but a lot of women, I'm sure, who listen, they would really appreciate a tool that they could have where it's really literally taking care of them. So it's taking care of their mood. We talked about is taking care of their mental state of being. It's helping to release all these happy chemicals. Leanne Rimes calls it happiness in a box. And because she has gone through a lot of perimenopause, a lot of issues, and depression and anxiety being one of them. And it was really her reaching out to a functional medicine physician who recommended Sunlighten Saunas, and it really changed. It was a game changer for her because anxiety is a real thing. And as you age and your hormones change, a lot of people start to experience levels of anxiety that they've never had before. And this is a great way to reset that, because once you go in and you give yourself the time to deep breathe and just allow the energy to enter to your body and do the work it's there to do, which is to produce those happy chemicals and to make you a happier person when you come out.
I love that. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head with women we're not taking care of ourselves. We're running ourselves ragged, just taking care of kids and husband and everything else. And maybe we need it the most, right? And I can attest to that too, using my Sunlighten, and I go in there and I don't really like to do anything while I'm in there. I know some people listen to podcasts or read, and I just kind of want to chill out. I just want to be alone with my thoughts. And whether you're meditating or you're not, sometimes I lay down because I have one big enough where I can lay down, and I put my feet up on the wall and just kind of also have that good, circulation and everything. It's been so beneficial for me. And that's why it was so important. I wanted to talk about this with you and in regards to women's health specifically, because I think a lot of things get circulated between different health information, and sometimes it's not right for women. I think we have to address women in a different way. We're maybe more sensitive, or I don't know. I don't know how to explain that, but so I'm glad we're addressing the sauna in light of women's health.
Yeah, I also think for women, a lot of women don't like that oppressive feeling of heat, like that really, really feeling of hot air, especially as you're getting, into, menopausal state and hot flashes and like they don't want that intense heat intensity. And what I love so much about this experience is it's enjoyable. Like you can stay in there, for a long time because it's intense with the energy, the way it's working on the body and the transformation it's making. It is not intense in the experience. It's extremely enjoyable experience. And like I mentioned earlier, it's like that wonderful warm hug of energy around you the entire time. And I think that's really important for women is I find one of my things I'm so passionate about is helping women, be their best self and being kind to themselves and giving themselves grace and using good mental language, when they're talking to themselves, because words matter and words, train the brain. And I mean, it's just something I feel that we have a choice to make. And as women, we are in charge of so many other people. And as I say in my house, if mom's happy, everybody's happy.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's, we have such an impact. And so we need to do the behaviors and use the tools that allow us to be our best self and allow us to be happy. And it's not a once in a year thing, or it's not like a trip. It's something that you do every day in your home or 3 times a week. And it's a gift you give yourself that keeps on giving.
Yes, absolutely. And I love that you addressed the heat, because I actually heard you on another podcast where you said that you don't have to have it heated up. You're actually still getting the light energy and all of those far, near, and mid infrared wavelengths, even if it's not heated to full capacity, let's say 140, degrees. Can you talk about that?
Yes, that's correct. You said it beautifully. Well, I mean, that was amazing. So like, this is probably one of the first podcasts I've been on where like, you articulated that perfectly. So like for near infrared and red light, which are delivered by the LEDs, right? It's like a light bulb. You turn it on and it's light. It's working. And it's the same way with far and mid. It's the exact same way. It's energy. So it's when you turn on the energy, it's on and it's working. And so the best way to experience and get the highest level of impact is to allow that energy to be absorbed in the highest quantity right when you turn it on. It's at the longest wavelength. It's the easiest transfer of energy because the wavelength is the longest and the smoothest, and your body is the most ready to receive it. And the experience, while it will be a cooler experience, you will notice that you start to relax faster, and there's no contrast with, trying to manage like, okay, the heat. You're not thinking about the heat. You're just enjoying that wonderful transfer of energy that is so impactful at the very, very beginning. And then it's up to you how long you want to stay, after that.
I feel like I'm missing the boat because I'm one of those, I turn it on, I'll go throw, load of laundry in, I'll like thinking that it had to heat up first to get the benefits, but you can go right in as soon as you turn it on and you're still getting the benefits of that light therapy.
Exactly, because it's light therapy, right? And it's light energy. And that's so we're so trained, right? To think of heat as a start and a finish with temperature. It's like the oven, you turn it on, you're preheating it, and it's got to get to 350. You use a traditional sauna, you got to get it to 180, 220. I mean, temperature is the measure of success for heat in a traditional sauna or in an oven or in other ways when it matters. temperature is not a measure of success with infrared because it is light energy that works directly with the body. You bypass the air. So you're not measuring the temperature of the air. You're measuring the impact of your body and how you feel as a result of the energy inside your body. That's the measure of success.
So the heat and the sweating is just kind of a byproduct of that.
Well, the heat is great as far as the sweating, because what's happening is, sweat is, that's such a powerful tool. It's so great for you. It's also a mood enhancing. So it's great for women. So that's another benefit that we didn't talk about when we talked about women's health, because a lot of women don't want to sweat, and they don't have to in the sunlight, and you can get in there and you can stay in there, and when you start to sweat, you can leave. However, there is a mental benefit to allowing your body to sweat. It helps helps with your hormones. It helps with cortisol. And then also when you're talking about heat and heating up the body, that's impactful when it comes to increasing your core temperature, boosting the immune system, getting this wonderful state of hormesis, which is essentially shocking the body or helping your body. That really kind of a definition is whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Whenever you shock the body, you're strengthening your cells. That's what you're doing with infrared, with hormesis, is you're strengthening your cells. And so there is I wouldn't say the heat is icing. The heat helps the body significantly, but it starts to help the body immediately versus you have to wait for a certain temperature, because the temperature measures the air, if that makes sense. So it's the transfer of energy right when you get in. And then if you like that feeling of intense heat, then just stay in there, until it gets up to a hotter area and enjoy it, and just plan your day around it. But you don't have to get the benefits. The therapeutic value is on the transfer of energy, not on the air temperature.
I love that. I'm going to start using it in a different way, because I always felt like hotter was better, and I kind of pushed the limit on that heat. But
you'll have to let me know what you think, because I've had so many people who have changed. And I have a lot of my own Kansas City community who I coach and mentor as far as protocols and routines. And I love when they reach out. They're like, Connie, I changed, and I've noticed my head gets clearer faster, or people will share their specific impact. Everybody's an N of one, so everybody's different and unique. But I would love, love, love to hear your feedback. So you'll have to just shoot me a note. I would love it.
No, I will. I definitely will. How are women using it with their skin? You have gorgeous skin, by the way. I can see it even through the Zoom recording. So
oh my gosh, you just gave me goosebumps. Thank you so much. That was so sweet.
You really, really do. And obviously you've been using the sauna for a long time. So how is the sauna helping our skin? Is it producing collagen? What is it doing to our skin?
Yes, it is. That's one of the benefits. I want to start though, because the most important part of skin beautification is the detoxification aspect that far infrared specifically gives you, because you're heating up your core, you're increasing your core temperature. That increase in core temperature is allowing the body to start to, sweat and purge. And that energy transfer as well that we talked about, when the moment that you turn it on and the moment you get in, even though you're not sweating, you're starting to activate all of your systems. So you're starting to impact, the flow of your liver and changing, your kidneys, and just increase circulation and getting all of the other parts of your body that impact detoxification, getting everything activated and moving to help promote detoxification. And detoxification is one of the keys to beautiful looking skin, because when you purify the body, your will glow, external. You will have this great radiant look to you. And I always say, purify the body and the skin will follow, because it does. When you get out you just look, you just look like you're glowing, and you look so healthy and radiant. So that's one aspect as far as the skin, which is the far infrared specifically. And then the other two ways that infrared helps to impact the skin is directly, and that's with the near infrared light and the red light therapy. Those two are just amazing at increasing collagen, increasing elastin, helping the cells with turnover. So as we age, a lot of the turnover slows down, and they accelerate that so that you get faster turnover, which helps with fine lines and wrinkles and skin beautification on the outside. So when you combine far and near and red, you get the perfect marriage of skin glowing because you're purifying the body. So you're getting the outside, the inside out, and then on the near and red, you're purifying the skin on the outside. So you're having both ways of cleansing and purifying, and making the skin look as youthful as possible. And then the other benefit is, I truly believe, and this is a Connie Zack thing. I'm sure there's data to back it up, but that when you feel great, inside, internally, I truly believe that, you radiate this wonderful energy of, beauty and confidence. And that is a glowing factor that transcends, the skin. So, and that's an impact, as we talked about, the happy chemicals that happen when you receive infrared energy into your body. You just start to want to do more, and you feel better, and you're just, you start to glow because you feel better. So there's the tangible, there's the direct, there's the indirect, all sorts of different ways to make your skin look, as beautiful as possible.
Yeah, I love that. All you have to say is fine lines and wrinkles, and people are ready to target that, I did want to ask, because in my sauna, I actually didn't really, I knew that there was different light settings for the overhead lights, and I typically put it on the red, but there's a bunch of different colors that you can choose. Yeah. And maybe if you want to talk about what the purpose is of those, and if there's any that have, special significance.
Yeah, I would love to talk about chromotherapy. So that's called chromotherapy or light therapy. And so hang with me, guys, if you're listening, because this can be a little confusing, because I've just been talking about light therapy and now I'm talking about a different light therapy. But it is. It's like a light bulb therapy. Okay. So which is a better way to describe it, because light therapy is what we talked about, with near and red, which is a completely different frequency than light bulbs. Okay. But what makes the light bulbs that are, overhead in the ceiling of the sauna, what makes them special is colors impact people's moods. And there is a lot of data showing that, how it impacts your chakras, and certain colors are better for certain things. For example, blue light bulb, not light energy. The light bulb, blue, a lot of people talk about how it's excellent for affecting your throat. So different ways that can impact the body are communication. So if you're doing a presentation or, and you're nervous, it's great to wear blue. It's also very calming. A lot of people paint, rooms in their homes blue, like sky blue, or like really calm, because they feel very calm, in that environment. Red and orange tend to provide more of a power feeling, like an impact. I think the data on, I know the data on orange specifically impacts your libido, because it kind of just like you're mentally, you see that color and it's just more of a, kind of like a erotic, light color, like just like red and orange. Yellow is different, green. I mean, they all affect the body in different ways. And the best analogy, the best way I can explain to people to think about it is going back to the painting your house painting a room, what colors do you notice that you feel different in? Do you feel different when you walk into a room that's yellow? Do you feel different when you walk into a room that's black? And notice that feeling, and then inside your sauna, that would be a good color to, pick the color that gives you the feeling that you're looking for.
Oh, so I'm gonna play around with that more. I'm gonna deviate from just using the red, and I'm gonna try some other colors too. Thank you for explaining that.
Of course.
What are some things to look for? I know that not all saunas are created equal. And what are some things to look for if you're picking out a sauna? Because I've talked about my sauna a lot. And so I've had a lot of people reach out with questions to me. And I'd like to hear your perspective on what people should be looking for in choosing a sauna.
Yeah, I'll absolutely answer that. And just as a side note, because I am really passionate also about making sure that people are educated and informed. And if, as we go along and even post podcast, if you get more questions that I haven't answered, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer those, and you can get back to your community. It's really important to me. Yeah. So that's just a side tangent tip, but I will absolutely honor that. So as far as what to look for specifically. So number one, for sure, is the quantity and quality of the infrared energy, because it's really it's energy, and it's a technical product. It's hard to harness the right amount. That's what we've been working on for the past 20 years, is mastering delivering the highest quantity and highest quality infrared into the body. We patented it. We have 99%. You cannot, it's impossible to get 100. So we're, A+++ on our delivery. And most infrared technologies don't use the materials and don't deliver anywhere near that number. And so you're getting less. You're a lot of times paying more and you're getting less. Nobody wants that. So that's the number one thing. Forget everything else. And that's really, really super important. After that, some of the other things to look for, EMFs are really important to people, safety of saunas, the electrical magnetic field. And we've tested ours. We found ways to cancel out all of that. And so ours is super safe. And we have that information on the website if you ever need to check that out. The quality of materials used, everything from the wood to the glass, the handles, every single element of the sauna we pay attention to, and we're so intentional about the quality of materials. We want you to have your happy place. We want it to be a sanctuary, and it should look like a fine piece of furniture. And so we've taken every step possible to ensure that. The wood we use is really important. And trust me, I mean, we started this company a long time ago in our basement, and man, we had some really painful lessons because we listened to other people who told us that the wood was hypoallergenic and nothing was going to happen. And we delivered it, and people had, reactions, and we learned that all woods are not in fact, most woods are not hypoallergenic. Most woods, especially the wood itself, is not. And then when you heat it, now you're taking any type of chemicals that is in the woods and you're bringing it into the air, when your goal is in the beginning to detoxify your body and have the clean environment. And so you're putting yourself into a toxic environment. And we learned that from our own experience. So our woods are pure, they're clean, they're non-toxic, they're safe, they're natural, and when they're heated, they're not going to emit any type of harmful substances. So those are some. I love
that you address that, because I feel like that's something that maybe I consider myself pretty aware of those types of things, and that's something I didn't even think about was the wood. There's not a smell to the Sunlighten. It is such a beautiful product. I actually have mine in my guest room. I cleared out the guest room, and it's my own little sanctuary of.
I love that.
I have a little workout area, and I have plants, and I have the sauna, and it is, like you said, it's a beautiful peace in there where it's not like, oh, I don't want anyone to go in there and look at it. I'm like, no, come in and look at my beautiful sauna.
Yeah, I love that. I love also hearing, I'm glad you shared where yours is. I love hearing from people where they put theirs, because I've heard so many different places and people creating so many different wellness spaces. And I think that's one of the places we are in society now, which is, I can't even tell you how happy I am about that, doing this for so many years. I think people are finally starting to realize that, they can't turn back the clock. Every day is they get a little bit older. And so the only way to, feel great as we age and to live as long as possible is to take care of this one body that we have. And the great way to do it is by, doing things that we know for sure help you be healthy, such as an infrared sauna.
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to move into your personal story in starting Sunlighten 25 years ago in an industry where I don't think this type of product was spoken about like it is today. In fact, I know it wasn't. And if you can talk about your journey a little bit and how you even got the idea to do this.
Yeah. So my brother was really sick, and he was young and had heavy metal toxicity as diagnosed by his dentist because his fillings in his mouth were leaking into his body. And thank goodness for his dentist, because that was really the brainchild, and that was the moment where we realized there was another way to heal the body safely and naturally. And for me, it was really incredibly eye-opening, because I was working on the pharmaceutical side of the business at Procter & Gamble. And it was really important to me, even, back then, just like it is today, was to be able to leave the world a healthier place and make a significant difference in this world. And I thought, I was doing that by helping people with gastrointestinal products. So I worked with a Crohn's and colitis product. I also worked with a hypertensive, helping with hypertension. And so I was, very committed to helping, doctors and helping people be educated on the products. And then when I saw my brother transform himself without side effects in the comfort of his own home, it was this massive, light bulb aha moment of, wait a second, what if there's a way to heal the body without medicine and side effects in the comfort of your own home, and not have to be traveling all over? Because he was going to doctors and, so many, trying to figure out what was wrong with him, because he was young. There's no reason that he should have been as sick as he was, until we figured out that he had mercury in his body at intense levels. And mercury is really heavy, and it's really hard to get out of your body. And so that's when, he discovered infrared, and we discovered infrared because just to watch my brother go through the transformation. And that was the beginning. It was really tough because, like, as you said, nobody knew anything. I mean, I didn't know myself. I didn't know anything about infrared. I mean, I started doing a lot of research and was so thrilled when I found there was already a ton of research in Asia on the value and the impact of infrared on the cardiovascular system. And when I saw some of the studies that infrared helps to, lower your blood pressure, and it helps to change your endothelial cells, and helps to, strengthen the lining and help with, CHF and coronary artery disease. And I thought, oh my goodness, we're trying to do this at P&G with medicine and in all sorts of different ways. But yet every time we come up with a product, while it will help, it also messes up something else in the body. And so it's like it's like your risk benefit, and it does help, and it's good, and people need medicine. So I'm not at all saying that medicine isn't important. But there is, with every medicine that you take, it does impact the rest of your body in some way. And if you can find a way to do that without, that's obviously the preferred way. And so it was just day by day, struggle by struggle, because we didn't have any money and there was no awareness. So it's not like, I mean, we were starting a category from ground up in our basement without knowing anything about the technology that we were doing. I mean, it's like every time I think about it, I'm thinking, how in the world did we get this off the ground? I'm so thankful that we persevered and we kept with it, and we, believed in our mission, because it's really nice today to see, to hear your story and how you use it, and that you've been using, and it's hard to put in words the impact it's made on my life, and how great I feel about the work we have done, and really how great I feel about the fact that we never gave up when it was really, really difficult. So, because that's the easy path.
When did you realize or how long did it take before people started talking about the benefits of infrared here, like in the United States? Was it years that had gone by?
We had so in 2009, so 2002, we were in the basement. 2009, we got the most wonderful phone call. We were actually in South Florida. So that's funny. We're in South Florida. I mean, it's so clear in my head where I was, what I was wearing, what I was doing when we get this phone call from our PR director, and she was somebody we contracted out. She's such a wonderful, wonderful person. And she's like, you guys, because Aaron and I do, we own the business together. That's my husband. She said, we just received a phone call. I just received a phone call from Harpo Productions.
Oh, wow.
Oprah Winfrey wants to have you guys come out to be on her show. And so we're like, what? Like, here we're on vacation in South Florida. We're like, put on the brakes, And so that moment where the Sunlighten Sauna was on her show, and Dr. Oz was the host back then, where he hosted different episodes and this one was on longevity and tools to help to increase the quality as well as the quantity of your life. And he, recommended Sunlight Night. Actually, Aaron and I both met with him to walk through a white paper that we had on helping to help the heart be healthier, lower blood pressure, improve quality of life. And so we reviewed that with him, and he shared the data on the show. So that clearly was an Oprah moment where the world became aware of infrared and Sunlighten. But then it stuck for a bit, right? Mm-hmm. But it still for years, really, really fast forward into 2018, I guess. After that was when people started, and a lot of people just started to learn more and tell a friend, and it was a lot of organic growth. We've put every money, like the money that we made with Sunlighten, we put back in Sunlighten. So we couldn't spend all this money for massive campaigns, and we couldn't do like the big brand stuff that P&G you were able to do, you had the budget for. We weren't able to, and we also had some challenges along the way that took up funds. I mean, it's a business, and it's hard. So then COVID hit, and that really helped them for sure, because people were at home and they were wanting. That's when they really became proactive, and people wanted to be in control of their well-being. Mm-hmm. And we were the resource and the tool to help people control their well-being and to be healthier, safely and naturally in the comfort of their own home. We had the product in stock. People would get it and tell their friends and do posts. And ever since then, it's been great for the world, to be able to experience the technology.
Oh, that's an awesome story. I love that. And so thankful that you obviously are touching more lives with the technology and the product. It's really amazing. I want to know, is there anything else that you'd like to leave the audience with as far as benefits or anything about the Sunlighten Sauna?
A couple of things. One is we haven't talked about increased energy that much, and that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because you talked about your audience being women, and I know days that I miss my Sunlighten session. I don't have as much of that pep in my step and that energy that I get when I use it. And energy is so critical and vital for positive thinking and being able to persevere and getting us out of that, fight or flight state into the relaxed state, and which is so important for, longevity and not stressing. So that's really, really important. And I think that really my parting thoughts would be, to try and encourage people to not wait for the moment when, meaning that, and I am preaching to myself because I am totally somebody that's like, okay, so when I lose this weight, or when I do this, or when I gain this, or when I get this, then I will blah, or when my kid does this, and like all these when things. And what I have learned about this experience, and especially when I'm in there, my mind just blows with just so many reflective thoughts. And one of them that always comes back is, this is the greatest gift you can give yourself. Yeah. And the moment starts today. And, you will be like, oh, I wish I would have done this sooner. So the two wishes that people say to me, so this is insight from, feedback over the past 20 years, is I wish I would have gotten a larger sauna. So get as large as you can, because people, like you said, they like to lie down. They like to stretch out. If you're a mom, it's wonderful to be in there by yourself, but it's also priceless if your kids come in with you, because then you can have these great conversations. And I mean, I love when they do that. It means so much to me. It's such a compliment. Yeah. So the wish of getting it as big as you can, as big as it will fit and that you can afford. And then the wish of, gosh, I wish I would have done this years ago. I wish I would have done this when I was going through, a divorce. I wish I would have done when I was going through stress with work. I wish I would have done this, before my kids were born. I wish, all these wishes, obviously, you can't go back, which is why I encourage everyone to get started. And on that note, you don't have to get started with the top of the line with the Impulse collection. You don't have to do that. So if you want to get started, you can start with the foundation of infrared, which is far infrared. You can start with the solo collection or with the signature collection. The signature is what was on the Oprah Winfrey show. So, consider that as an option. That's a better option than the when this happens, then I'll do that. That's a much better option, because you will not regret it. I mean, absolutely not.
I can second that. Absolutely love my sauna. It has changed my wellness routine quite a bit. I love it. I absolutely love it. I use it a couple times a week. I'd love to know your personal sauna protocol.
Absolutely. My personal sauna protocol is hydrate, hydrate, hydrate before, during, and after. For sure. I always actually bring in, hot water with lemon inside my sauna, so that I have it there. And I sauna in the morning. There is just with that said, just because I do that does not mean that is the preferred way. That's my preference based on my schedule and when I can do it. I do all my cardiovascular strength, yoga, like anything that I'm going to do what that relates to exercise or fitness is in the morning. That's just the way it works best for my schedule, because I make dinner at night for my family, and then in the evening I'll do a walk with my husband. And so it just works best in the morning. And I also follow up with electrolytes. That's critical. Absolutely. Especially for this audience, because man, does that change, as you age. And, it's so critical for mood and your cells, as well as how you feel and your energy levels. And then the other protocol I have, and this varies, but I typically habit stack. And I know you said you don't, which I think is wonderful because, a clear mind and clear thoughts and just being alone in your thoughts is also a great gift, and doing that inside your sauna is wonderful. I typically will do multiple things because I'm just packing it all in. And I think there's not a better place in my house to habit stack than inside my Sunlighten. So I will do, usually start off with deep breathing and some, intentional breaths and just kind of paying attention to my cells and how I feel, and then I'll do my intentions for the day, and sometimes I'll do some, meditation and stretching. Just the habit stacking depends on the day, depends on what's going on. But I almost always do other things. And I also wanted to build on your body position inside the sauna, because I will for sure, while I am in there, switch around my body so that I am lying, I have my back on the bench and my feet up.
Oh, you do the same. I love that.
When you said that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's my position.
That feels really good to me. And especially if you're wanting some relaxation. Oh, it's so good. And then I feel like even the heat hitting the tops of my feet like that, I don't know, it just feels really, really, really good. Now, I did lie because I do like that's typically the time that I dry brush. I'll dry brush before I go into the sauna, or maybe right in the beginning when I'm in there. I do like to do that. That's part of my routine. But
I like dry brushing too.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your protocol.
Of course. Thanks for having me on this show. I mean, this has just been amazing.
Thank you. Tell everybody where they can connect with Sunlighten. We have a special link that'll be in the show notes, Cinnamon Effect link for the listeners. But tell everybody how they can connect on social media. You guys put out great content, videos, that type of thing. So
we'll send you our information, but we're on Instagram and LinkedIn. And of course, you can come to our website, sunlighten.com. You can call us, 877-292-0020. You can chat with us on our website. You can text us. Our goal is to meet you wherever it works best for you. And we would love to hear from you.
I love that. Thank you so much, Connie. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of The Cinnamon Effect. If you enjoyed our time together, don't forget to hit that follow button on your podcast app and sprinkle a little love by leaving us a 5-star rating and a quick review. Your support means the world to me. For even more goodness, check out the show notes where you'll find links to some of my favorite products. And don't forget to visit thecinnamoneffect.com to connect with me directly or to grab your TCE gratitude journal, your next step towards a more grateful life. I can't wait to spice things up with you again next time. Stay vibrant, stay inspired, and remember to add a little cinnamon to your life every day.